right, good morning and welcome to the Aired Out podcast. It is National Superhero Day today. Are you feeling like a superhero? I don't know.
It is National Superhero Day.
It's a bird!
Shouldn't you be wearing a mask?
Mask. It's a plane!
Superhero Day.
It's a superhero thing.
It's Superman.
Spider-Man.
April 28th, National Superhero Day honors superheroes, both real and fictional.
So are you ready to get started? Yeah.
Paul, are you feeling like a superhero today?
That's why you invited me here.
Yeah.
I guess.
Listen, speaking of superheroes, I'm telling you, Wednesday morning is going to be a morning not to forget right here on Aired Out. Here we are only on Monday, and I'm already like, oh my God, I just cannot wait for Wednesday. Big announcement, sweethearts and heroes are going to be with us in the studio on Wednesday morning, and I'm beside myself. It is going to be.
Was here a couple of months ago.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
These guys are unbelievable, and what they're doing, they're literally changing the world, and I am so impressed with all of them, the entire team. And we have a big announcement to make on the air, and we're not going to do it until, well, there may be a press release that comes out today. I'm not sure, but wow. Happy Monday. The weekend is in the rear view mirror now. I hope it was a good one for you. Listen, I don't mean to start out on a negative note, but the weather this weekend, Paul, was just shite.
It was snowing.
God, man. Especially yesterday was like, are you kidding me? You know? And my brother, who's like 4 hours to the south, is calling me. He's like, yeah, we got the lawnmower going, blue sky. And I'm like, wow, dude.
Yeah, my friend in Virginia has been talking about mowing his lawn for a couple of weeks already.
Yeah, I mean, God. Just like, really? I mean, it's not going to be productive to get upset at Mother Nature.
No.
Nothing's going to change.
Well,
I'm
just accept it. Let it be what it is.
Well, you can accept it, or you can just say, I'm getting the hell out of here, you know?
Well, that's still, it can be a form of acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean that you stay in it.
Right.
If I walk out and it's snowing and I don't want to be in the snow, I don't stay in it, but I accept that it's snowing. I don't get mad about it. If I get mad about it, now I'm creating energy inside of myself. It's going to wreak havoc on me and stay in there forever.
All right. I created that negative energy inside
of yourself. Yeah.
I even texted a G, and I'm like, I vented on him yesterday. I've had enough. I mean, come on. Can we just bring on the black?
Right, but why? So why do you say
bring on the black flies?
Right. That's what you're hoping for. Yeah.
I'm hoping for the black flies. Let's shift gears here, man.
Right, but all of this stuff is like, it shouldn't be this way anymore. Just replace should with want.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it to be this way. Why? Can you change it? Nope. Okay.
No.
Accept it. Yield to it. You don't like it, move.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey, very happy birthday today to Brandy Marie Maddox Bashaw. We have Teresa Bauman, Maureen Murphy, Sherry Perry, Robbie Godfrey, Jessica Bernard, Sue Rivard, Allison Domi, Jess Patterson, Catherine Thresher, Roseanne DeForge, and Rebecca Nauer. Saturday's rain and cold temperatures forced the postponement of the Pine Tree State 125 for the ACT Tour. It has been moved to Saturday, October 18th.
What are you talking about?
It's the backside of the summer.
What are these words that you just said?
Saturday's race.
What race? What was racing? None of those words made any sense to me.
The ACT race, the American Canadian Tour. I know
I don't
you
know
don't.
what ACT is.
I know.
Pinewood sounds like Cub Scout.
Canadian. Oh God, no! American Canadian Tour. Paul.
But what was racing? Humans, bicycles, humans on bicycles.
Well, everyone knows.
Cars with people in them?
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Right, everybody except for me.
Except you.
My
yes.
superpower is not knowing what the ACT is.
Wow. Saturday and Sunday this coming weekend will be opening weekend at Thunder Road. You've heard of Thunder Road, right? Yeah.
I've heard Thunder Road.
All righty. Yeah, the car show and the practice both going to be on Saturday. Community Bank 150 on Sunday to kick off the 66th season. Amazing at Thunder Road. Austin Cindric wins the Jack Links 500 at Talladega. The post-race inspection disqualified Logano. So those guys didn't have the Logano anyway didn't have the who was the other one that was disqualified yesterday? I can't remember. Listen, I have here in front of me a message, a post that was written and put on social media that that I'm going to read and maybe even connect in with the author of this. And Paul, would love your 2 cents on it, and I appreciate you being in here. But this is this got my attention this morning, as it did many, and this is a subject that I've been discussing on the air now for a couple of weeks. And I'll just read it. After another weekend of annoying encounters, I'm hoping this reaches all businesses in the city. I'll follow up as well. Dear fellow downtown business owners, I hope this message finds you well. I'm reaching out to ask for our collective support in addressing an ongoing issue affecting the safety and comfort of our patrons, staff, and families. Many of you are likely familiar with Brandon Carbo. There it is, the buzzwords of the week. Brandon Carbo. Over, and has been for, well, since last winter. Over the past several months, he has repeatedly approached individuals in and around our businesses under changing stories, often with the intent to solicit money. While I have personally attempted to offer him support and non-monetary help, as every person deserves dignity, it has become clear that his continued presence is disruptive and in many cases distressing for customers and staff alike. Brandon has subtly harassed my family, patrons, and others, creating an environment that feels unsafe and unwelcoming. This behavior has gone on too long. As business owners, it is our duty to ensure our shared space remains secure and inviting. I'm proposing a unified step. File a no trespass order against him. It's free, it's simple, and legally enforceable. If multiple businesses act in unison, Brandon will no longer be able to frequent downtown. Violations would result in immediate arrest, not just a warning. We are not targeting individuals out of malice. We are protecting our community. Once we have taken appropriate legal action in this case, we can continue to address other similar challenges together, ensuring Main Street is a safe and vibrant place for everyone. Thank you for your time and consideration. Standing together, we can make a difference. With respect, Rich McSheffrey, who owns the Cornerstone Pub and Kitchen, and Two Loco Guys. Brandon is someone that I had a brief encounter with the week before last, and had somewhat of a kind of a surprising, at least what I thought was a constructive conversation. And I invited him to come on the airways and discuss his story, his life, which you know me, Paul.
I was going to ask you, why don't you do that?
Well,
you did.
I'm
That's
trying
good.
to, and he stood me up.
Mm-hmm.
He was a no-show, but you know that I'm also a no nonsense kind of a guy too, but on certain subjects and certain situations. But you know that, Paul, I am one of these guys that I love. I believe. Listen, I'm not justifying any of his behavior. The guy is a real nuisance. He's beyond a nuisance. I mean, our city manager, Nicholas Storelli Castro, referred to him as a nuisance. Rex Thompson has referred to him repeatedly as public enemy number one. I'm not discounting that at all.
Is Rex serious, or is he tongue in cheek with that?
I think he's a little tongue in cheek. But you know, I want to know why he is the person he is. What circumstances in his life have led up to him making the decisions that he's making? Why is he a public nuisance? Which, again, he's beyond a nuisance, and not just in Barrie, but also surrounding cities, Montpelier as well. Why is this repeated offender still repeating? Why can't we have any more leverage with our judicial system, our courts, our police, to get this guy out of our community? You know, and Rex, I think, can at times brush against being a vigilante. I mean, and I can relate to that too. I understand. You know, there's many of us that want to just kind of organically take care of the problem if the police can't take care of it, and maybe not physically harm him, but tell him, look, we're going to make it very clear to you, we as a collective group of citizens who have physically presented themselves in front of Brandon, we're going to make it very clear to you that you're not welcome in our community and you need to leave.
Yes, that's rough.
And if you leave, you know, it's like, and I've heard, you know, well, what if he goes, you know, next door to the other community and then kind of infiltrates back into Barrie City? You know, I mean,
isn't that what the ride him out on a rail saying comes from? They would take someone like that and put him on the train and say, "You're not our problem anymore." Yeah, and just, you know, so they just push it, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. When you start, like, if I identify with anything, I identify with anarchy. You know, anarchy means without ruler. Doesn't mean chaos. It doesn't mean riots in the street. The people in control want, or the people who are supporting the political system want. It seems like they want to make anarchy seem like it's just absolute chaos and just the purge and stuff like that. It's not. Anarchy means without ruler, meaning that there's no collective rulers. You govern yourself and I govern myself. And so in that case, then we do. So vigilantism exists because there's a perception that the system isn't adequate, isn't
effective,
right? And so anarchy kind of supports that. If I have an issue, I take care of it myself because I govern myself. You govern yourself. If you are governing yourself in a way that's impeding on my rights,
you're right.
My natural born rights, then I have freedom to intervene.
Sure.
We don't live in that system though, so that might be my preference. I don't know how well it would work. I think that implemented in our current system, it would fail miserably initially because we have a population of people who are dependent instead of independent. I'm not independent. I can't function without the grocery stores and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're also not panhandling and.
Oh, but that's not part of this yet. But like, if we're not independent, we can't be anarchists. We can't be self-governing.
Wow.
So because we're not self-governing right now, we are governed. So as long as we're governed, it's hard to switch into a brand of self-governance. And so what we're talking about here is if the system's not adequately protecting people, well, then what do you do?
Yeah.
And
well,
so
business owners are trying to figure out, they're all talking about this,
sure.
and they're trying to figure out, what they can do. And a lot of them are saying it's not our job to figure out what to do.
Well, but what crimes have been committed? This is the issue that's always. So I've been seeing the posts and stuff over the last couple months. I've never seen this person. But I know his name now, but I hear all these stories. And so sometimes there seems to be that maybe there are some alleged crimes that have taken place, but I don't know. Is soliciting, panhandling, is that I don't think that's a crime in Vermont. I don't think it's illegal.
Let's bring him on, Rich McSheffrey. Right. Rich, I just read your write-up, your post this morning, word for word. What say you, buddy? What are you saying?
I told you to stop calling me, didn't I?
Yeah.
Stop harassing me.
He doesn't respect my wishes either.
I know. I'm gonna file a restraining order against you.
Oh my God.
Jeez.
What's going on, buddy? Good morning to you.
Hey, buddy.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. I didn't know it was Superhero Day.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Listen, man.
I don't know, JD. It's there's a lot more to it than probably. It's not just as simple as this guy being a nuisance. Anyone with a heart understands that this, didn't happen overnight, and there's probably things in his past and whether it be upbringing or getting into drugs or making bad decisions. But ultimately, he's landed in our lap, and I've had a conversation with him where I treated him like I would a brother. I asked him what his issues were. Where has he tried to get help? Has he gone to places that, in the area that offer it? His answer was yes. He's been in and out of this and that. And I mean, it's clearly a drug problem. He's had family members that have OD'd. I don't think, it's not for me to say, but I don't think it's a full-on mental health thing. I think it's a drug thing. He made it very clear. He told me he'd been off for a couple of weeks, but the problem is he's a compulsive liar too. He said he wasn't able to get an ID, therefore he wasn't able to get a job. And, I made it pretty clear to him that it was going to be complicated for him to get a job anywhere around here, even if he wanted to, with the current status of his name. I offered to bring him to Burlington Airport. I offered him a ticket to anywhere in the world, one way, that I would drive him there. And I was serious. I wasn't joking with him at all. I wasn't being aggressive with him. It was just he was outside of our building harassing customers. I was actually working in the kitchen at this time and got called out there. So how I ended it basically was, he said he's been kicked out of every church. He's been kicked off the bus for fighting with the bus driver because the bus driver was picking on or made a comment to his girlfriend. I mean, it's just always something, but there's no, you really have to be like, I don't know, a mind reader to understand what's true and what isn't. But the fact is that he's been around too long. He's causing problems. I hate to see him go to the next town over and be their problem too. I don't know what the solution is, but I know that it is, in fact, without question. If you look at the comments, even on the post that I did today, people are saying they're not coming to Barrie because of this guy. That's not okay. I don't care what the reason is behind it. It's not okay that he is affecting the businesses that we've built, for one. For two, I feel I genuinely feel bad that we lost a good police officer. I think that the rules are rules, and if he did, in fact, which it appears that he did, violate the rules of the police department, then rightfully so, he should resign, be removed. I don't have a problem with law and order, no matter what side you're on. I don't think this, the vigilante thing. Oh my God, yeah, I'd love to take care of this myself, but there's no place for that either in society. I hate the fact that we lost a good cop, but I don't blame the people that had to make that decision. I'm sure it wasn't easy, but as you know, if you watch the news any day of the week, that had they decided to keep him, it would have been outrage on the other side. So it's just it's a really hard predicament, but I think that ultimately, this guy, I mean, I can think of dozens of times that he's messed with my people. Him and I have kind of an understanding about him staying away from my corner currently, if you will. But, even the other night, my sister and some friends were going to a concert at the Labor Hall, and he was over there harassing them, asking for money, asking for ride, asking for drugs. Like, it's just not okay. It's not okay for people to feel unsafe. I'm in the process of, trying to figure out budget wise, if you will, with my businesses, how to afford to hire a security person to work just the evenings, maybe just before dark until the restaurant closes and my staff is safely departed. Because I just I don't want to have it on my hands if something happens to one of my people or one of my guests because of this guy. And it just, he's not scary to me at all. Like, I wasn't remotely intimidated at any point by him, but I'm also not a 70-year-old that's just trying to get in and out of a restaurant, or a female or male or otherwise that just is terrified of somebody like that. Not everybody's lived in the big cities. So, without rambling on, we've got a problem. It is a nuisance, and it needs to be dealt with. And I think that overwhelming. I hate to even overwhelm the police with the suggestion I made today, but something has to be done, because if you look at all the times they've gone to make contact with him, that's just telling him, shoo, go away. Like, they don't have any rights. The police can't do anything. Whereas a no trespassing order at least is, a legally binding document that allows the police to make an arrest. So we're sick of it. I don't want the police to have to deal with it either, but at this point, I'd rather have the police deal with it than local business people having to deal with, one loss of sales because of it, or one of their staff or anyone feeling intimidated by something that just shouldn't exist.
Rich, have you had a chance to see, and if you haven't, I encourage you to do so. Nicholas Storelli Castro, our city manager, was on with me last Monday talking about Brandon Carbo. Have you had a chance to see that episode of Aired Out?
I saw parts of it, and I think he's a really smart, intelligent guy. Like, I don't question him. I think, like anyone, he's, oftentimes put in a position where he has to make a decision that people aren't going to like. And that's, one of the reasons I don't get myself involved in any, politics, because I have to sell hamburgers at the end of the day. That's how my folks make their living. So, no, I think he's an intelligent guy. I think he's doing a good job. Obviously other people do too. He's, just been contracted to stay. Same with the police chief. I had the pleasure of chatting with him before city council last week about cameras, and this guy knows law enforcement, and the city manager knows how to manage. And with the camera things, not to shift gears, but something like that seems like a very simple step to provide something to make the good people feel more secure. And if the police chief, who's not elected, he's paid, the city manager, who's not elected, he's paid, and the mayor, who's elected but agrees with having cameras, if those three people, with what they know and where they've been and what they do, all agree that this would be a good thing, or at least a step toward encouraging people not to behave poorly in downtown, who's the wiser here? Why are we questioning this? So, no, I think that, and that got passed, by the way. So I do think that will help it at least save some time with, feet on the street, door-to-door police work. So.
And I've seen the comments, maybe you have too, of cameras are one thing, and that's great. It shows a lot of transparency. It shows what's happening in real time in our community. As Montpelier has adopted this. Burlington obviously has. I mean, any somewhat hub or city has incorporated cameras into it. But if you don't,
and every store, every business,
right? Every store, every business. But you need to be able to enforce the crime that you're you're capturing on video, and that brings some additional challenges, Rich.
I guess I'm not following. Like if JD Green runs over something in front of a camera and it's on camera and they have you in the car with your car and a license plate, seems to me like that would be a lot shorter work to roll back the cameras and see who ran over such thing than it would be to do the police work of going door to door looking for witnesses and
yeah. No, I know.
like,
I know exactly what you're saying. It's what I'm not saying. What I'm saying is what I've read is that to have crime captured on video is one thing, but we need additional police staff to do the job after the crimes have been caught on camera. That's what I'm saying. Actual
correct
people.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole another issue, and unfortunately we're not doing ourselves a ton of favors by not supporting our police, and that's again, I know we could go on for hours and that's an entirely different subject, and I can understand why people aren't supportive of all of our police, but the majority of our police are trying to do the right thing and ultimately just want to get home at night. They're not
Sure.
out to do bad things, and I think that it just for me it sucks because I'm a police lover. I grew up in a family of police, and like when like everybody wanted to be a police or a firefighter and stuff when they were little, and it's like that ship has sailed, and there has to be a huge reform and recruitment and everything on that, and it's hard because you just feel like the Berry City officer, it's like you're one punch away from losing your job, you know.
Have you hired Zach Hughes is asking, what did he do at your business? Did you hire Brandon Carbo at any point?
No, I didn't. No, he's just around. Like even over the weekend, I had, and this is the other part that sucks, like people going on social media and saying, I just got carboed in front of Cornerstone, or I just got carboed in front of Say Business. Like they're putting our name out when they're saying it. They're not doing it to affect us. They're doing it to be on the lookout. But it just sucks when you see your name in the same sentence as his, and that does affect business. If I was looking online, hey, where do I want to go out tonight? Like looking through restaurants and what do they have for specials or whatever, and I see Brandon Carbo's hanging out at Cornerstone on the corner, what would you do? Would you, I'd avoid it. So that's the problem. I don't want to see anything bad happen to this kid. I think anything bad could happen to him already has. Like I feel bad, but I don't feel worse for him than I do my hardworking, good employees and the hardworking, good citizens of not just downtown, but our community and the surrounding area. Like nobody should have to deal with that.
Yeah, and business owners, they've got enough to worry about, and they've got enough stress to contend with.
Correct.
And this shouldn't be anything that adds to it. You're basically saying in your post that, well, more than basically, I mean, you're clearly saying in your post this morning, business owners ought to rally together and submit a no trespass order, which is going to essentially, if we get enough businesses to join together to do this, that will.
I think they all will, and of course there are people saying, well, no trespass doesn't really do anything unless they come into your property, which that's not entirely true either, because a lot of businesses downtown Barrie and building owners own a little bit of either they're out back or they're out front. Like there's a couple feet of sidewalk, so there's some area there that's a little gray, but nonetheless, and I don't want to put a burden on the police where they have to go deliver individually. Like my recommendation would be like, everybody file these things, give the police a week, and get them all together and bring them to them all at once. I don't want to make I don't want to make a bunch of unnecessary work for people, but for the business owners, it's easy. I'm going to be very surprised if anyone doesn't do it. I kind of did the same kind of thing several years ago. I don't know if you remember when we had a registered sex offender that was let out of jail.
Yep.
I believe he, almost killed a woman, like beat her half to death, rape, all this stuff. Anyway, and he was relocating to Barrie, which he did. He relocated to Barrie, but I went door to door downtown by myself with a stack of no trespasses, and everyone signed him. Nobody wanted him anywhere near downtown, and guess what? He wasn't. So I don't know. If nothing else, it's a deterrent. I mean, is Brandon Carbo smart enough to know all the laws in and out? I'm pretty sure if he gets a stack of no trespasses from the majority even of the businesses downtown, I'd have to say that's a pretty good deterrent.
And Brandon Carbo is really not the only one. To good point from other listeners who have mentioned Carlos Perez and his girlfriend. I had a completely different person come in with a song and dance to Too Loco the other day. I had him on camera, and he came in, looking for, his car was broken down in South Barrie, the whole bullshit that we always hear, and it was a totally different person. But you're not going to fix it all at once, but you got to start somewhere. And if you start somewhere and we gain a little traction here, and something like this, something as simple as us filling out a piece of paper and dropping it off at the police station works, or gains a little bit of traction, maybe we see a little less of this, we got to start somewhere. And I think that this is where we start with him. He's the big name right now. And then, as the bigger names resurface and these people repeat and bother people, I think harassing to me is a crime. If you're making somebody feel intimidated, that's a crime to me. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's just unwelcomed.
Yeah, it's just unwelcomed. So, yeah, I think we start with the big name. That's him. See if we can gain some traction and then go from there.
Rich, I'm going to reach out to you next week, and we'll see, about maybe having you in here or having you back on the air with any kind of update or perspective.
In fairness, I'm not going in there anymore unless I get paid.
That's fine. Listen.
We need to talk about money.
Compensation.
Yeah.
What's that,
I
Paul?
know Rex isn't going there for free.
I give Rex $1 every time he comes on. I'll give you $1 too, Rich. Actually, Hold on. I'll give you $2.
Yeah, I want to make more than Rex.
All right. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Yeah, man. Paul, God, man, as a counselor, there is quite a bit of drug use here. That he has a reputation for being a drug user.
I'm not going to speak to any of that. I don't know anything about that. So,
what do you
I talk drugs in general, but
what do you have to say about all this stuff?
I don't know. I'm turning the speaker down. That's disturbing me.
You know that as we both have said numerous times in the past and this morning, we've already said everyone's got a story. Everyone's story is unique. And in my conversation with Brandon Carbo, it was like I said, it was a respectful conversation. I mean, I've heard from Rich and I've heard from many others that Carbo can be very smooth with his words, but he told me about some of the hardship that he's gone through with 2 sisters that have overdosed and died, a father that just died. He's had some hard times lately, but by God, we all have, though, right?
Yeah. Well, and so you and Richard both said that having a conversation with him, it was he wasn't menacing or intimidating to the two of you, but like Rich was suggesting that other people might find him intimidating, and so that's the thing. So you don't know this guy's story, you don't know what his history is, but you also don't know the history of the person who finds him intimidating.
Yeah.
And this is we're all just operating out of our experiences until we stop operating out of our experiences, and we just settle into ourselves, our authentic self, a true self, and then you stop with all of this. This is how it should be or it shouldn't be. That's what's going on. I mean, there's no judgment in that. It's just that's what we do. It should be this or it shouldn't be that based on my personal experiences. And so when you have someone come up and ask for money, if you have the experiences and the mindset, the beliefs that it shouldn't be that way, this guy shouldn't come up and ask me for money, well, then you're upset. Who created the upset? You did. So there's some joke, I can't put into words fast enough, but if Brandon Carbo solicits in the woods and no one's around to hear him, does he actually do it? And I can't think of it fast enough, but there's a joke in there. Maybe some people would find that inappropriate, but that's okay. That's what humor is. But so, has he committed crimes? If it's not illegal to panhandle, if it's not illegal to ask for money, is that a crime? Okay, but I felt intimidated. Okay. Well, your feelings, right. That's pretty subjective stuff. Did he threaten you? Now, there's criminal threatening. I don't know the laws. I'm going to talk to the police officers in here and have them explain it. What are the laws on this? What constitutes a crime in the process of asking someone for money or stopping someone on the street and talking to them? I could walk out there right now and ask someone to, can you take a picture of me in front of this building? Is that a crime? Is that wrong? What if I'm scary? What if I say, hey, I really want you to, what if I say it in an intimidating way? Is that then threatening? Or I can ask somebody for money and they say no, and I say, okay, thanks. They could say no, and I could curse at them. Mm-hmm. They could say no, and I can shake my fist in their face. When is it a crime? Mm-hmm. So I know assault includes the threat. There's threat, force, or just threat in general, I guess. I'm not sure. Again, I don't. I shouldn't say I know assault does this and then say I don't know. But there's something. There's threat, and there's some law in there. So if this person is breaking a law, then the police would arrest them, right? Isn't that what the system is supposed to be? Yeah. And so then are we saying that there's just not enough police to see him do it? But it's hard for me because there's a lot of situations where police get involved where I don't know that it's necessary. Yeah. Or the state, maybe it's not the police so much as the state will press charges against somebody. If there's a dispute between two people and they say no charges, the state can still press charges. And that's interesting to me and somewhat concerning depending on the situation. And if I'm wrong, great. But that's my understanding of the way people have explained certain things to me. Yeah. And so if you've got a guy asking for money in front of a store, can that store no trespass him? Absolutely. They're your property, your business.
I wonder if the state's attorney is even aware of Brandon Carbo.
Why would anybody be aware of him? I don't know. I've seen Facebook posts, and I'm not doing the Facebook thing anymore, so now I don't see him. But so if you didn't bring it up, I wouldn't have heard about him or thought about him again. I've never seen him.
Do you know what he looks like?
No. I've seen the little pictures on Facebook. I don't remember. He looks like every other guy in Barrie. I don't know. He's not like nothing. I don't know. Everybody's just people. I don't know. I think that
Amy says, or don't carry too much money with you. I mean, here's the thing. It's
I get asked for money.
Who the hell's walking around with cash these days? I'm not.
I get asked for money all the time. Except for that.
Except for today.
JD's good for. He's got good for $2 today. Come and get him.
I got three here.
He's got three.
Three.
You're bringing attention on yourself. Don't flash it.
Three.
But I walk to work every day. I walk 2 miles.
Right. I know
every
you
day.
Do.
So I'm out, and people ask me for money sometimes. Not very often. Out here in my office more often, but but I do get people asking me for money, and if I have money and I can share it, I will. And if I don't, then I don't. And most of the time, I don't have any cash on me, and I kind of stopped carrying cash because people would ask me, and I felt like if I have it, and I can give it to them, so I would. So now I don't carry it anymore. I was a month or so ago. I was leaving my office, and a guy was sitting on the bench out on the parking lot outside, and said, "Hey, you got any food?" And I said, "No, I don't have any food on me." And he said, "You got any money?" And I said, "No, I don't have any cash either." And he said, "Okay," and I kept walking, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't threatening to me.
Forbes saying the Barrie community has no choice but to correct their public image, which is affecting all phases of their business and social environment.
Yeah, it's tough for me because I guess I don't spend enough time on Main Street around. I mean, I walk up and down, and once in the morning, once in the evening, around 9 and then 6. I'm walking on Main Street, but I'm not being bothered
It
by
might
anybody.
be safe to say, though. I mean, I'm assuming here. I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I could assume that you have passed within close proximity of Brandon Carbo a few
Probably.
times.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've also gotten to know a lot of people who I've heard, who have reputations, maybe not on that caliber, but similar reputations, or especially if you look them up in the Times Argus write-ups on them when they get arrested for something, and they sound like they're the worst, vicious people ever, and I know them, and I know that they're not. So you get to know somebody on a different level. It's tough. It's tough. We're operating on what our experiences are. But if somebody asking you for money is really disturbing to you, why? I'm not trying to say that you're wrong for being upset that you don't like somebody asking you for money or you're being afraid of that guy.
Sure.
Obviously, I don't know your experiences and stuff like that. But if he hasn't committed a crime, what are you going to do to him?
Yeah.
If we start using the police to prevent people from doing crimes, well, I guess that's part of the purpose. But I'm thinking like Minority Report extremes, right? Let's go to the extremes. I don't want to go to the extremes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Rich said, if you got cameras everywhere, good people aren't going to be bothered by that. I don't know. I don't think I'm a bad person. I'm not worried about cameras catching me committing crime, but I don't want cameras everywhere. I don't know. I don't like what that creates, the energy. Because if it could be done out of peace and love, then great. But I'm afraid that it's not being done out of peace and love. It's being done out of fear. And then so it's just creating a collective energy that's to me is worrisome.
I think there's a reason why so many communities and cities and everywhere in this current day world with technology have cameras everywhere. And furthermore, I think that there's good reason that we should have them. That's my opinion.
Sure.
I think there's been things that have happened within the last couple of years here in Barrie City, just from what I'm glancing out right now.
Are you watching crimes?
Just looking to the east on North Main Street, where I think that if there were cameras in place over the last couple of years, that I think it would have made the police have an easier job.
Well, that's a tough one because sure, in some cases maybe,
because
but
shit has happened.
Well,
man.
how many times do you see it on camera? Stores being broken into, people doing. You see the crimes on video.
I wonder what
It doesn't
Dwayne.
prevent it.
Yeah, I wonder what Dwayne Beatty would have to say about this. Who was beaten up by Carlos Perez right down the road in the tunnel to walk through there by Subway. Anyway.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. And everybody's experiences are different. And so someone who's experienced something like that is going to have a very different reaction to someone who hasn't. Like me, I haven't had these experiences.
Yeah.
So would my tune change if somebody accosts me? I don't know. Let's hope we don't have to find out. But things happen.
Yeah.
And then can you accept that it happened? It doesn't just acceptance doesn't mean you like it or you want it to happen. Acceptance just means that it happened. If it happens, it happened. If it's raining, it's raining. I accept that it's raining. I don't have to stand in the rain. I can go back inside. I can put up an umbrella, but I can't change the fact that it's raining. So once something has happened, I have to accept it. If I resist it, then I'm only creating issues inside of myself. And that's a much deeper conversation, perhaps, than what we're on here. But that's to me, that's the root of it.
Facebook question of the day before we close out here. For smokers looking to quit here in Vermont, 802 Quit offers cash incentives towards progress. And I'm asking, what are your opinions about this?
No.
What are your thoughts
The research doesn't support that.
about
In my opinion.
802 Quit?
In the past, the research does not support monetary incentives for quitting addiction behavior.
It's happening here in Vermont, Paul.
All right, well, maybe the research has changed since I've last seen it, but I don't know. My understanding is that that's not supported.
Listen, I wonder if there's a few people who are like, well, if I quit for a year.
Right. Yeah, what are the stipulations? Well, how long do I have to smoke before I can sign up for this program? It'd be real easy to quit if I only been smoking a week.
If I quit for a year, how much money could I save to buy a few more cases of cigarettes.
Right. Yeah, you got a year's worth of
I don't know,
money
man.
saved, and then plus the incentives.
Maybe it's worked for some people. Maybe there's folks out there that have had great luck
always
with.
Gonna be fine. There's always going to be a method that works for somebody, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and
I
where's
mean,
that money coming from? And who funds 802
I
quits?
I
So this is
don't-
the kind of stuff,
I don't know.
So we can pay somebody to quit smoking, but we can't pay to house people. And again, I don't know that that's necessarily
A lot
society's
of these-
responsibility either. But
A lot of these programs are very effective, but
Sure.
I'm just wondering,
Sure.
what say you as a listener this morning? Do you, and you can post it right up on Facebook. It's up there right now. What do you say about this? Do you think there should be cash incentives for making progress quitting smoking with 802 Quit? Anyway, have a marvelous rest of your day. And be well. Take good care. I am wearing shorts today. I don't give a rat's ass. And I wore shorts yesterday, even though it was snowing, Paul. I don't care.
Neither do we, JD. Neither do we.
I think there are people that do care.
Okay, they probably are. Well, they got to stop bothering themselves about that. I don't care.
I've had it. I don't care if it's...
I'm glad that you're
if
comfortable.
It's
I want you to be
outside,
comfortable.
I don't care if it's snowing outside. I'm like, look in my window, Mother Nature.
Mother Nature.
I'm wearing shorts.
Yeah.
You want to see them? Look at this.
I see them. Look at those gams. Gams are legs, right?
See that right there? Oh, yeah. I don't care. I'm wearing shorts. It's summertime.
You sound like you got some resistance in your voice.
I have
though.
a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, let go of the resistance.
Not
Let
much.
it be.
Just a little bit.
Yield to it. You can still wear shorts and enjoy it, but yield to the fact that it's what it is going to be outside. Just accept that.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
Yeah. We'll talk about that pay raise later.
What's that?
We'll talk about the pay raise later.
All right.
I got to make more than Rich.